Some of the biggest things that I've learned along the way in being an independent filmmaker is whew, so many, and good and bad. And I always want to stress out that there's a good balance in knowing both of them. It's not just all bad and it's not all just good. But for me, the highlight of becoming an independent filmmaker is learning how to fundraise for films. And that's something that nobody can ever take away from me. And that's something that I'm incorporating in every project that I'm doing for myself and for others as well. And those budgets just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's been something that I never thought that I would know in the business of storytelling, but it's been something that I'm really proud of. And I hope to continue doing more of that. Some of the hardest things in becoming a filmmaker is also the budgets and trying to make something so beautiful with small budgets. But I think that those challenges have created a very type of like hustle mentality and also challenge me into what are other ways that we can also create that concept with smaller budgets. And then sometimes that's just collaborating with other people who might not have the skill that I have, and they have the skill that I don't have. And that's been also really beautiful to see as I've grown my career. For me, the best times of being a filmmaker is definitely having my mom present at one of our biggest screenings and her being there by my side. And I think that that's what drives my values. It drives the way that I tell stories, and it drives the people that I'm around in my community. And then the other one is seeing all of it come together. You go out and you shoot, and you just don't know what's going to happen. And then seeing even a draft of that is always a sense of calmness to me and a sense of pride, because now I know and I see where the story is going. To me, collaboration is huge. I feel like when I started in filmmaking, I wanted to take everything on, and now I know that that's not the case, that we can really take a step back and let other people lead, and they're so good at it. And that's also a great way to start mentoring people and bring new people into your vision. And sharing that vision, to me, it's bigger than just taking on the project by myself, which also just would stress you out way too much. So collaboration is definitely key to success, and that's something that I'm still doing, and I'm hoping that those collaborations get bigger and bigger. But then also in those collaborations, I'm learning so much from other people because maybe I'm not the best sound or the best person at color, and watching and really respecting their craft has made me a better filmmaker, definitely. Selecting people to work on your film for me has been trial and error, there's been a lot of learning, definitely. Trial and error of knowing who is just connecting to your project. If there is no chemistry there, for me, that's a first sign that that's probably not going to work. But of course, there's always those situations where you really need an editor, where you really need a second camera. And I think also being an independent filmmaker, really learning how to manage people has been one of the things and the challenges that sometimes you don't think that that's going to happen. You're just here to be an artist, but is something super important on your set, on your crew, moving forward as an independent filmmaker. And also, I think the most beautiful thing about that is when you do have the right people, if you treat them right and you're consistently mentoring these folks, that they will come back and work for you. And then will also be so happy and give you and your project and your vision 100% of themselves. Well, I think now I make my films about the communities that I want to highlight and give power to. And I also make those films for them. So they can see themselves in that big screen with that power that they have. Because I feel like we've seen so many stories in the past. Not only are they created by white filmmakers, but they're also a narrative that leaves people of color specifically, as a victim, when we know that they all have the power, and it's just about shifting that narrative. And so this type of storytelling that I've created for myself and for my community is to really highlight the resilient in whatever issue it is, whether it's immigration, whether it's climate justice, or queer and trans issues. Those people in our stories, we center them to be powerful, and then so then people can also see themselves on screen feeling powerful. One of the things that I tell students and young filmmakers is how important the power of networking is. Whether you're tweeting at that person, whether you are sending an email and you're following up, whether you're just engaging with the people that you want to be around, for me has been absolutely valuable since I was 17 years old to where I am at now in my career.